everybody, happy Monday. It's a pretty slow, it's getting to be slow, boy. It's getting to be slow. So what I'm doing today is trying to think of stuff to make videos about. So as I've told you before, hey everybody, as I've told you before, when I make some videos that aren't like breaking news stories, it requires like a lot of research. So I'm taking a day to kind of like do that writing. But of course, doing a stream for sure. I want to thank everybody again for being a member. Anybody, of course, can tune into these, and I'm very happy to make them available for everyone. But I make them only, you can only comment if you're a member, because I have to tell you that's been really helpful during this time period. So everybody who's a member, I really appreciate you signing up in the first place, but continuing to do so during these times. So before we get to, we're going to do, as usual, 3 stories of the day, and then you can ask me anything at the end of the stream. It's always an Ask Me Anything for the final 10 minutes. Before we get started, just a little warm-up. Where's everybody streaming from? I've also spent today getting screeners, and it went pretty well. I'm very happy. I'm glad everybody likes, this is actually a t-shirt. Chris is in Queens. I also made myself waffles earlier today, and it's too sweet. It was a mistake. Hey, Yan. Let's see here. Pacino is in Dublin. Niv is in Israel. Caleb's in Houston, Texas. Marvel Fan 81 is in Minneapolis. I love seeing people from all over the globe. Francisco, I think it was Francisco. Yep, is in Lima, Peru. That's pretty darn cool. Thomas is in Cape Town, South Africa. Jan, who just joined, is in Miami. Lisa says it's gloomy in Wisconsin. Hey, oh, it's going fast. Hey, Vojtali, I appreciate you joining. Japstone says it's a full month of quarantine in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I hear you. I think hi, Saw the Olympian. I feel like I'm going to be in here until, like, I don't know, end of May. That'll have been almost 2.5 months not going outside. I went down to get my mail. That was actually kind of fun. The Chris channel is in Walden, New York. Ethan's working at home from Phoenix. Lloyd says from his own lovely couch in Virginia. I love it. Madeline's letting in a bit of fresh air in Dayton, Ohio. Oh, Quill, you're in Paris. Oh, and Godzilla vs. Kong in London. Oh, so beautiful. I love Paris. London is also very nice, but oh, I love Paris. Evan's also in Ohio. Thomas, I am going to do rankings for the DCEU and MCU this week, but there are like 29 Marvel movies. That's going to be like a really long video. I'll do those when I'm not doing stream days. It's going to be so long. Rampton, you get a shout out today. Let's see here. Tribute is also in Dublin. Youngie is isolating alone in the UK. I hear you. Oh, Aqua is in Moscow. Computer Man is in Atlanta. We are open. How's it going over there? That must be crazy. Good luck to you. Be very careful, please. I tweeted out a very disturbing article last night about how bad this disease is, this virus. It's so destructive. Gudo is in Brazil. Blue Tattoo is in Minnesota. I can't do a live action fairy tale reading with Milan if I haven't seen it. I was just going to see it before they canceled all the movies. It was going to be an amazing week of A Quiet Place 2 in Milan, but it never happened. Oh, Carmelina, thank you for joining. I saw you earlier before I went live. It's wonderful to have you here. Carmelina is a beautiful name. Josh is checking in from Seattle. Sam, thank you for joining. Jennifer is in Texas. You're going to start opening next week. Everybody, please be careful. Please be careful. It's so dangerous. If you're going to go outside, please do me a favor and at least wear a mask. And it has to cover your nose and your mouth. You should really try to put glasses or sunglasses on too, because it can go in your eyes. So just be really careful. All right? All right, so let's get started, everybody. It's lovely to have you here on that depressing note. All right, I didn't prep the marker. Hold on. Computer Man, someone probably has the screeners of Mulan and A Quiet Place too. They hardly give out any screeners, and I don't think anybody has screeners for those two movies because they were playing them for print press and like the Hollywood Reporter and stuff. They had a premiere for both of them actually. So anyone that wanted to see the movie like really early has already seen it. I don't think there are screeners out for any of those. All right, so first story of the day. Bam! And don't worry, I promised there would be no spoilers for The Last of Us 2 on the stream. So don't worry about it. We're more going to talk about the culture that leads to such a situation. All right? So over the weekend, somebody uploaded full clips of cutscenes and I believe some gameplay from The Last of Us 2 onto YouTube and other gaming information. And while it was quickly taken down, because it's, of course, protected material, it was too late. You can already rip that stuff down from YouTube. It's getting uploaded in other places. So it's out there. Screen grabs are out there. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. So it did get a Naughty Dog to have a release date, right? Is Godzilla vs. Kong spoiling stuff? All the time, Godzilla vs. Kong. Why do you do this? If I see you again on here doing that, I'm going to have to put you in timeout. Godzilla vs. Kong. It's going to happen. I see you. You're getting a timeout. Okay. Why do you make me do it to you? All right. So anyway, it's a very bad situation. And but Naughty Dog, because now a ton of people know what's going on in the game, they've decided to put a release date on it for June 19th. So it's coming out, now pretty soon. Before it was indefinitely. And this is obviously a very, very important property to Naughty Dog because it's supposed to be an HBO TV show. So they really don't want its image to get flushed down the drain. I will say that based on what I saw of leaks, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it's more of the kind of stuff they tried to do with Star Wars. It's very political, and I think it is going to cause some problems for the game. I'm not saying I think some of the representation they're doing is wonderful, but I think nobody likes forced representation, and I hope that it's. I've never played the game, so I can't speak to whether or not it's done organically, but I hope it goes well. I think that from what I can see, I think that some choices are so negative to some people that it keeps them from being open-minded to some of the other changes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, oh well, if you had not done that, maybe some people would be more open to this. But since you did that, it's very difficult to accept this other change. So I think that it's not very well balanced in terms of the changes that they make. Josh says, Josh works in the gaming industry. Josh says, I read the leaks and know the story. I think we all dodged a bullet here. Yeah, I think that people are going to be upset when the game comes out, based on what I've heard and what I've seen. And I'm surprised that companies continue to make these mistakes. I think that you can get a pretty good read on fan culture these days and what they want, what they don't want. And not to say that you shouldn't still do things that push forward representation and stuff like that. Hey, Irving. But I think that you have to be really careful on how you do it. And I think a lot of times that people do it with a sledgehammer, and it just causes problems for everybody. So it's very unfortunate, because I would like to see the game well received. So the other thing that shines a spotlight on is crunch. Now this is something I didn't even know about until I started to see a number of stories about it about various different companies. And what crunch is apparently when they're getting down to the line to put these games out, they have to really work like 24/7 to get the games done because they take an intense amount of programming. And that requires an incredible amount of man hours or person hours. So basically the problem is that they're creating a work situation, like for instance Naughty Dog, there was an article that came out, I think it was today, that Naughty Dog works very hard to hire workaholics who want to work an amount of time that's not healthy or appropriate. And they don't ask for overtime pay. In fact, one person said that, let's see here. Joshua says, we all applaud taking risks. The story came at the cost of Naughty Dog employees suffering at their company culture. Josh is right, because the rumor is that these leaks, I guess I buried the headline on that one, I'm sorry, I'm a little slow to get up and running today. But the reason these leaks came out is it's believed that an employee leaked them because they didn't like the way they were being treated by Naughty Dog. So they were like, I'll show you. And I think we've seen a couple of other instances where games had that same problem, where there were leaks because of potentially disgruntled employees. I don't know why you would have people sensitive information and then be mean to them and wonder what's going to happen to it. It's really bad. I mean, the question is, can they prove who leaked it? Because they do have to sign agreements, and there would be maybe legal repercussions. Lisa says, boy, am I lost. I have no idea what this story is about. All right, I'll paraphrase. Catch everybody up. All right, so Naughty Dog is a video game company. They have a game called The Last of Us, which is incredibly popular. And now they have a sequel coming out, and they recently delayed it indefinitely. But over the weekend, a disgruntled employee, the rumor is, leaked footage from the game and spoilers and a whole bunch of information. So now Naughty Dog has moved up their release date to June 19th. They've set a release date because now everybody knows what the game is about, and it's been spoiled already for a lot of people, so they're like, we can't wait too much longer. And it also shines a light on video game culture and this idea of crunch. Because I think, the expectation is if you're going to work people a lot, they should get overtime pay for that time, and they should also have full-time positions. A lot of the times, these people are only hired, temporarily to work on a game. Their idea is that they're working towards a full-time position that never materializes, unfortunately. And that's really, really bad. So that's, I think, what you're dealing with here, and the way people are hired and the way that these are done. It's a problem, by the way, that's not just in the video game industry, but you're seeing it with a number of businesses. For instance, internships went through this. Internships were ruined, basically, by companies using them to do low-paying. They took low-paying entry positions and made them internships, so you had to basically do a job that you should be paid for, but instead you're doing it for free as an intern. So that was like a really bad situation. Again, internships have never really been the same. Hey, Effie Gaming One. Effie Gaming One's like, I got to get in here and comment on this. That's great. So yeah, so I feel like it's a really complex situation, and I think a lot of human resources departments are sleeping on the job at these video game companies. And also, I think when you have something like crunch, one person who used to work at Naughty Dog said that they had a fellow employee when they were there, who was hospitalized because they were working so hard. Now, I can't imagine that you would be working so hard you were hospitalized. That's appalling. I can't even think what would cause that. And I would think that any company, if they had an employee who was hospitalized over their work, would be like, maybe we should look into this. So it's very difficult. So what do you guys think? Are any of you gamers, by the way? Nathan says it's sad, but people need to remember your employer is not your friend. Business isn't personal in a good or bad way. I couldn't agree more, and I do agree, Lloyd, that maybe getting rid of unions wasn't the greatest idea. Sometimes unions can, of course, be abusive, but that's the thing. Both people are bad, they push each other, and they get a compromise that no one's really happy with. And that's how it's supposed to work. But there are no unions right now. A lot of companies, I've felt this way. My friend calls it the gummy bear and Lego complex, where a company will say, hey, I'll give you free food, and you can hang out with your friends here and work all the time. Isn't that great? But they're not paying you. My favorite Dave Chappelle quote, hey, Jasper Massey, one of my favorite Dave Chappelle quotes is, pay me, bitch. I used to when I was covering Henry Cavill and Superman. It's like, don't give me all these promises and stuff. Although I think, Henry Cavill, I felt he was, asking for more than maybe he could reasonably get. But you got to pay your employees. So, and also I think lack of real-time positions is difficult. Nick says, gamer here, I was debating on whether or not to even purchase Last of Us 2 based on the company treats its employees. Yeah, it's really tough. CJ Parker says, I'm the original gamer, Grace. This game has been shrouded with so much bad press. Yeah, the gaming industry is just having, I think, a difficult time right now. I've seen more stories than I would expect. JLR says, I'm a gamer, and I agree that crunch is horrible. I think, if crunch is what has to happen, that's fine. I wish they could schedule their timing better. I don't know how a video game is made. I can't speak to that. But I do know that, for instance, the movie industry is heavily unionized, because if you don't heavily unionize it, a bunch of people die. They still die, unfortunately, in stunts and, behind the scenes, people are having to go home at bad hours. and that's, but that's why they have unions, and perhaps, but I have heard stories about some people trying to unionize video game companies, and they get fired. So Nicole just said what I talked about the game industry needs to unionize like film. AD says, I work in this industry, Grace, but in Europe it's still an industry of fun, where you expect to work for fun, but at least unions are the norm there. Yeah, that's another thing. I think people are like, oh, isn't it awesome you're working on video games? That's your life. So Josh says, I've made a career in the gaming world this last decade. Got to protect yourself at all times, and no one will look out for you better than you. I'm SAG-AFTRA. Oh, no, where'd it go? Okay, eligible, and it makes a difference. That's great. Yeah, Josh has that union looking out for him. So it's really crazy. You got to be really careful. Very, very careful. All right, so that's the first story of the day. Whew! Good luck avoiding those Naughty Dog spoilers. I think it's going to be tough. All right. I don't think, Glalie Master, there was any Shang-Chi footage leaked because they hadn't really shot anything. They shot, like, some dude getting into a helicopter was all that I saw. All right, so second story of the day. Bam! So, this afternoon, Universal, it went so well. It was the first big story, Evan. So things went so well for Universal with Trolls, they are releasing another film straight to video, and that is The King of Staten Island, starring Pete Davidson, directed by Judd Apatow. Now, this was supposed to have a really good path to theaters. It was supposed to premiere at South by Southwest, and then go again at Tribeca, the Tribeca Film Festival, which is great because, of course, Pete Davidson is so New York, and Tribeca is the New York film, is New York based. That's the festival founded by Robert De Niro. So, guys, don't put a bunch of stuff about Shang-Chi footage in here until we get to the Ask Me Anything portion, because you're just distracting me and everybody else. Okay? Like, I'm not gonna break in the middle of my talking and be like, okay, let's totally talk about this. All right. So anyway, so the Universal is going to be releasing The King of Staten Island on June 12th to video on demand. Now, Pete Davidson, he's kind of playing himself. I don't think he's got a lot of range, but not everybody has a lot of range. And Universal, interestingly enough, Judd Apatow discovered Pete Davidson, and he had him in a bit part in Trainwreck, and Bill Hader was in the scene. And Bill Hader liked Pete Davidson so much, he recommended him to Lorne Michaels, and that's how Pete Davidson got on Saturday Night Live. So now the press release says Judd Apatow discovered Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, Steve Carell, Jason Segel, Kumail Nanjiani. That's a pretty good list. And now he's going to discover Pete Davidson. Godzilla vs. Kong, I'm going to have to put you in a timeout again. If I have to do it a third time, I'm going to hide you, and you'll never be able to comment again. At least for a week. And then you have to hope that I remember to unblock you. All right, so Pete Davidson is going to star. He plays someone who's having substance abuse problems. He's a lazy guy living at home. Basically his life. And Judd Apatow has also put his daughter Maud in it. I have a problem with people putting their family in their movies. It's like, don't push your family on me. But at least she has her own legit credit. She was on HBO's Euphoria. But so she co-stars as his sister, as Pete Davidson's sister. And then this is where the cast starts to get really good. Marissa Tomei plays his mother. Bill Burr plays his mother's new girlfriend. That's fantastic. That's just such a great idea. So Bill Burr is going to be like basically Bill Burr versus Pete Davidson. And right there, I'm like, I will watch that. And then also Steve Buscemi has a supporting role. So that sounds quite good to me. So yeah, it is basically his life. Thomas, you're right. James Gunn put his girlfriend and brother in Suicide Squad too. His brother, though, it does do the motion capture for Rocket Raccoon. So that's, I think, okay. I'm not so crazy about him putting his girlfriend in there in Suicide Squad too. But, let's see how she does. But I think that's a very strong cast for the King of Staten Island. And it probably will actually do better on streaming than it would, I think, in theaters, to be honest with you. Interestingly enough, it comes out the exact same day as Artemis Fowl. What a day at the movies. I think that's absolutely hilarious. So yeah, who will watch this? Who will watch The King of Staten Island? But Ian Michael, it might be $20 to rent. That's a lot of money. I don't know if I'd pay $20 for the King of Staten Island to rent it, but I would as a business expense. But, you know, if I wasn't reviewing it, hopefully they'll give me a screener, but that's a lot of money for that. Admiral says no. Elliot says no. Nick says, I will. Oh, a lot of no's. I like Waffle says no if I'm paying. Lisa would buy it. Bill Burr and Pete Davidson's a pretty darn good combination. Lloyd says, not me. A lot of no's. Oh, poor Pete Davidson. Haha. Dancing Dog says if it's on Netflix, I'd watch it. It does seem like a Netflix movie, right? I think if it was on Netflix, it would do extremely well, and maybe they should have put it there. But Universal doesn't like to do that. That's what Paramount does. Paramount likes to stick its movies over there. All right, so that's the second story of the day. Now, the third story of the day is very interesting. Tyler Perry is working very hard to get his studio back up and running. He's a factory. He built his own studio recently, which is pretty darn impressive. And he feels that he'd really like to get back to filming. He shoots a number of shows there, and he already, it was already working like a machine. He can do like a 22-episode season in 2.5 weeks, where it usually takes people like months to do. Just because, I think he has his people that he usually works with. I think he does it all on the lot. They don't have to go anywhere else, because it is a very impressive lot. They even have a fake White House on the lot. He has all of his locations there. He has all of his interiors there. And so he already doesn't have to travel to shoot. However, he does have to worry about, Anna, I'm glad you like my new story identifier. Tyler Perry does have to worry about getting anybody sick. So he has come up with a plan. And, he does point out, because, otherwise studios are saying people won't be able to start filming until 2021. Now, Atlanta is a huge production hub, and as Tyler Perry pointed out, a number of people in the area do depend on him for an income. And he's really, I think, does a wonderful job. I mean, I know some people are very critical of Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is, Medea. He's the actor who does Medea, but he's also a very prolific filmmaker and a very good businessman. I mean, he used to be homeless, and now he's like a multimillionaire. I love that he gives it back to the community. He often will pay for people's groceries. He'll pay for their Christmas gifts. I think he really works very hard, I think, to give back, which I think is very commendable. But as Chris points out, the quality of the work is lower. That's true, Chris. I think that's true. I like that apologetic emoji you put next to your comment. Yes, he does not have high-quality production, unfortunately. But it doesn't seem to hurt his audience. People know what they're getting and they like it, right? It's like McDonald's. I love it. Boy, do I miss McDonald's. I gotta tell you. I almost ordered McDonald's the other day, but I was like, how would I clean the containers? I really miss it. All right, so anyway, so delicious. All right, so anyway, he's decided that he will have everybody, since it's for such a short period of time, just 2.5 weeks, that he will have everybody live on location. And so he has hired a private testing firm to do his own coronavirus tests, and it takes 24 hours, so he will have everybody get tested, and if they are approved, everyone will go in lockdown on location. They won't be able to go home for 2.5 weeks. And he said they'll get location pay, so they'll be paid a little bit extra because they can't go home. And he'll have a smaller crew behind the scenes because, just for money reasons, and also less people to be exposed. And then he's going to work with just 10 extras, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. Big Witch says, is this legal? That's a good question. I'm sure he has to work with guidelines for the unions, so I think he'll figure it out. But yeah, he apparently has living quarters on the location, and not only does he have living quarters like barracks that are set up. In fact, I think they actually are old military barracks that he bought with the land. But he also, this is a fun fact, he built himself a suburban street to film on, a row of houses. But usually in Hollywood, they just make the front. But Tyler Perry made them all actual working houses with plumbing and bedrooms. So he said people can live there. So I think that would be great. I mean, Tyler Perry's stuff was, I think, low quality, production quality, not low quality, maybe in terms of creativity. Again, there's an audience for his work, clearly. But, it's going to be the same level that it was before. So I think if people are willing to do this, I think it's a nice idea. I think some people would rather go away for 2.5 weeks and be working than be unemployed, especially if Tyler Perry's working so hard to protect them. He's going to take all the tests to make sure that everyone's all right. And he's going to keep testing them throughout production to make sure that everybody is safe. And so I would feel better about that. I would feel a lot better about that. And, I think it's a good idea. And I'm sure the food will obviously be included. So that's great. I mean, you have no expenses for 2.5 weeks, but you're making money. And I think it's a great idea. So I think Tyler Perry again, really wonderful, and I think a huge benefactor to the city of Atlanta. And that's another way that he gives back. All right, so that's the third story of the day. Hold on. All right, everybody. It's 4:27. You can ask me anything you would like until 4:37. I got Hollywood screeners, by the way, today. I'm going to review it. I was like, a lot of you are interested in it, and I need content. So I'll review it. And that embargo actually lifts on Wednesday. So I got a lot of episodes to watch in the next 2 days. All right. Mika says, Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas thoughts. Somebody sent me a video yesterday about how Ben Affleck lost his temper with paparazzi because they were really harassing them. And I thought he was right to do that. I think they're a cute couple. I'm glad Ben Affleck has found happiness. Hey, Super Steve. Super period Steve. That's great. Yes, happy Infinity War Day to you too, Glalie Master. Juan, we can talk about Shang-Chi, but I don't know that anything has come out. I gave you guys great Shang-Chi tea. I told you that it was going to be a combat tournament. That Fin Fang Foom was going to be in it. Joe, I thought Westworld was visually amazing, but I thought, pretty weak in terms of story. What is this? Somebody tweet me or DM me the Shang-Chi thing. Because I haven't seen the Shang-Chi leak. So look, I'm looking at myself live. That's ridiculous. That was weird. Okay, I'm just going to look it up. It's driving me crazy. All right, let's see what we're looking at here. This dude on a bike? I don't know. It doesn't look, I can't, it's too, let's see here. All right, one of you did send it to me. Thank you. Okay, so it's some video. Well, I don't think that's Shang-Chi. Or maybe it is. I don't think that is him. Looks like a crazy party they went to. Let's see the other one. Yeah, that's not anything. I'm not going to, that's not enough. Okay. Thanks everybody for looking at the top of my head for 2 minutes. All right. Gudo says, Grace, are you enjoying the Harley Quinn second season? I am. They have a new episode coming out on Friday, though, which I felt they took a bit of a wrong turn. They basically make fun of fans, which I thought was an odd choice. In fact, I reached out to them and I was like, "You sure you want to do this?" And we'll see if they actually still have it come out. It seems innocent enough, but I'm scared for how people are going to react to it. Jico, I thought the stuff on Killing Eve with the baby was a bit much. It was a bit much. I felt the show kind of crossed the line on that a little bit. Let's see here. Oh, Fidel, the next watch-along, I think Fidel asked that. The next watch-along right now is going to be Scoob on May 16th. Zoinks! Henry says, what are your thoughts about Ariana Grande joining American Horror Story? That's the route Lady Gaga took, so I don't blame her. Let's see how she does. The story that I saw that Emma Roberts turned down Harley Quinn so she could be on Scream Queens was one of the dumbest things I ever saw. It was so dumb. It was super dumb. She should be embarrassed by that story. Hey, Super Steve in Serbia. Let's see here. Favorite horror movie, Lone Wolf Media? The Shining. I love The Shining. Niv says that Entertainment Weekly is reporting that YouTube will host a 10-day virtual film festival event. How will that work? I think it's not going to work out. The problem with this doing a film festival like this is that everybody can see your movie. There's a limited audience at an actual film festival. So nobody who has a chance of their film being bought is going to show it at a virtual film festival. Thomas, I feel bad for Kite Man too. He's a nice guy. He doesn't deserve this pain. Alien, Love Victor didn't put out a teaser. It put out a clip, and I will react when they have the trailer. This is hilarious. Where is that? The Scatterbrain says Robert Pattinson has trouble staying in shape. Thoughts? I told you that. I reported that. Oh, Mika says, don't worry, darling, casting thoughts. That's a great cast. Florence Pugh, Chris Pine, and Shia LaBeouf. Although I still don't know how I feel about Olivia Wilde as a filmmaker just yet, so I can't get too excited about it. Elizabeth Johnson says, do you think Alison Brie could be She-Hulk, or do you think they want someone a little younger? I heard they were considering Alison Brie or an Alison Brie type. So I think she'd be great. I think not everybody can be the same age in the MCU. I think that's ridiculous. Francisco, Tom Hiddleston's not going to be Joker. That's a ridiculous rumor. Jamie, I do not believe Rogue will be introduced in Captain Marvel 2. She's not going to lose her powers in the second movie. That's ridiculous. It's going to be Secret Invasion. That's what I'm hearing. That's very sweet of you, Big Witch. I'm doing pretty good. Today's a bit of an off day. It's hard to, recalibrate, you know. I'm starting to feel, the lack of news. It's tough. Bye, Ian Michael. Or Ian Michael. Rampton, I have not watched Freud on Netflix. Fidel says Armie Hammer should be in the DCEU. He was going to be Batman in George Miller's Justice League. I think he would have been a great Batman. Where is that story? Lloyd Lester says, Grace, Regina Hall is reportedly in talks to star in Cheaper by the Dozen remake for Disney+. Great idea. I think Regina Hall's hilarious. Lauren said, did you see Disney trying to trademark May the 4th? That's pretty funny. I did. Well, I don't know if they trademarked it, but they said, for instance, that if you used it as a hashtag, they could use your, they could use your Twitter handle and what you tweeted as a promotional thing. I don't know. I mean, I think it's important to protect stuff. I'll tell you that Joe Quesada, for decades, has had something called Cup of Joe, which was his column, and he did it in Marvel Comics. Hey, Adam Salazar. And it's kind of his thing. And I saw a new Quibi show being announced today called Cup of Joe, and I was like, oh, Joe Quesada must have taken his show over to Quibi. How interesting, because I know he had something he was going to do on Disney+, so I think it got moved. But anyway, it's Joe Jonas. So clearly, Joe Quesada should have trademarked Cup of Joe being used in that way, because he got ripped off. And now Joe Jonas is Cup of Joe, and I think that's kind of annoying. Is Godzilla doing another problem? Where is it? Let's see. Can't believe it. All right, it's done. Why do you make me do it, Godzilla vs. Kong? It's so ridiculous. He's hidden. He can't comment anymore. Okay. Big Witch says, do you think Killing Eve is suffering from the lack of Phoebe Waller-Bridge? Definitely. I think Phoebe Waller-Bridge has like an elegance to her stuff that she does, and I think now it's like a little bit too much like a sledgehammer. Matt says, do you think that Daredevil Matt Murdock can make an appearance in She-Hulk, considering they're both lawyers? I don't think so. You know, Kevin Feige doesn't get into a lot of trouble because he just lets things die, right? He was like, for years, he was like, I'm going to make an Inhumans movie. He didn't. And I think he's just going to let this whole thing die with the Marvel Netflix shows, because he doesn't want to deal with somebody else's work. I mean, I think he's very much a perfectionist. He's done a fantastic job, and he wants to do his own stuff. Oh, it's 4:38. Okay, I'll do 2 more questions. Max says, do you think Chris Evans would be good in a future Star Wars movie? As I've said before, I think he'd be a perfect person to be in a Star Wars movie. I think he's pretty much done with the MCU, at least for a while, and I think people really like him, and I think he'd be great. Let's see here. Somebody asked me a question. Oh, Fudge Muffin says, Grace, can we get a video on upcoming Disney live-action films? They're a little all over the place, but I will tell you that I did hear from my own source that Rapunzel rumor is true. Disney is trying to get a Rapunzel live-action movie off the ground. Although how they can make that and it doesn't star Mandy Moore and Zachary Levi, I don't get it. All right, I must go. I could talk to you guys all day. I really like talking to you. But I must get to work on other stuff, and I got, as I said, a lot of Hollywood to watch. It's 8 episodes. All right, have a lovely rest of your day, and there will be videos this week, but they will be heavily written and researched, so I got to get on it. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, live streams are Sundays at 10:30 a.m., so these are the times. 10:30 a.m. is the live stream on Sunday, Monday and Tuesday at 4 p.m., and then Wednesdays at noon. All Eastern Standard Time. Okay,